David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. You could tell I'm a little bit of a clothes horse. I'm surrounded by different styles and outfits from the different Bond films. But, this is a video where we sort of look at the mirror and come to terms that not every one of the James Bond outfits, the accoutrements, the styles, the accessories, not all of them were home runs. Or more appropriately, not all of them would be successful in the year 2025. Now, if we go back a little bit and kind of go through in a chronological way, I think that we could probably play the game. But we'll do things a little bit differently because I'm going to start with one that might be a bit controversial because some of you like that, and that is good old Sean Connery. Now, I adore Sean Connery's films. I think his style is impeccable, but we got Diamonds Are Forever, right? We've got the infamous pink tie, way too short, way too pink, take your pick, but it is in a very questionable moment in Connery's filmography when it comes to James Bond. There were a few items in there that people kind of tisk at as far as Connery's choice in that. But it's hard to deny that the pink tie it's a gravitational pull of conversation. And dare I say, if you wore it today, I don't think it would hold up. In fact, I will tell you that I've seen some people in the Bond community wear the pink tie, wear that same outfit, and it's a little bit of a call out, like almost too much in that it looks like something from Diamonds Are Forever. So therefore, probably wouldn't be appropriate. I don't know if you know this about me, but I love me some Live and Let Die. It is my favorite Roger Moore film. It is some of the fashions and the style, especially when he's suited and wearing the coat, are some of my favorite. There's a couple that not great. For example, this one. I mean, Bond wearing the Tennessee tuxedo, as they call it, the all denim top and bottom with the tank top. I don't know. It doesn't smack of James Bond to me. It looks a little dated. You got the pants flaring out and the boot cut, which, all right, I could take that. Some people nowadays would wear that and be like, look, it's high style. Dang nabbit. Dang nabbit. But to me, it just doesn't look great. It doesn't look good on him. It certainly wouldn't feel great in the Jamaica heat, my gosh. So it's not very practical, but I just don't feel like it stands the test of time. I know that when I show people that picture and talk about that outfit nowadays, they laugh. It's one of these kind of funny moments. And we don't want Bond to be laughed at. We want Bond to be appreciated. So in that course, it's one of these outfits that just does not stand the test of time. Now, Timmy D gets a little shade, and it's, a little bit because not a lot of people often talk about his movies, although now if you like Timothy Dalton, James Bond movies, you are a connoisseur. You're a connoisseur all of a sudden. That's great. I love Living Daylights. I think it's great. License to Kill falls pretty far down in my ranking, but I will say in Living Daylights is one of these outfits that I just don't think stands the test of time, or rather wouldn't be the thing that everybody thinks is, oh, that's a great Bond outfit in 2025. And that is this outfit. I mean, that is a lot of beige going on. I like the shirt. I like the shirt with the pants, but you add that beige top. And I don't know if you've seen these guys who walk around. They've got the white sneakers, beige pants, beige polo, and a beige jacket. And I swear they have a beige baseball hat. I see these guys walking through the park all the time. They are the sweetest old men. Oh, they're sweet. But if I turn into that beige person, just let me know. Just call me. Go, hey, David, I don't know if you heard. You're like Mr. Beige. And here I am wearing like an off-white top. Nice choice, David. But my point being is that Dalton shouldn't be beiged out, especially nowadays. It could have been the look back then. I don't know. I don't think it was, but it's way too much beige. It is the world of beige. It is beige exploded. Too much. Too many pairings with it. So dial it back. Now, I know that you thought that Daniel Craig, because these are all like Daniel Craig stuff, was going to be unscathed in this conversation about something not holding up. But if you go back to 2006 and Casino Royale, there are a couple things that look amazing. They're classic. We own them. The Riviera Polo from Sunspell still looks great today. Still will look great 100 years from now. But the pants he wears with them, the linen pants, is it Ted Baker? Is it something else? Is it John Smedley? Who knows? But they're a little bit too boot cut. They're a little bit too flared. It's the way they fit. They nowadays you have sort of a more fitted look, not overly fitted, but the trousers are too flared and boot cut to be fully accepted today. I don't think they look that bad. But I'm talking about, the measurement here, the criteria in this video is how would they hold up in 2025? And I'm here to tell you that they may not hold up that great. And so Daniel Craig gets a little ding for this particular one. Now, another one that people would look at and go, hey, it's not going to hold up, is the outfit that you see right over here, and that is the Enjoying Death outfit. And I'm going to give that a pass because he's down and out. He's put some things together. I actually happen to think that that looks perfect. But the one that almost is universally, hey, you would never wear that out into the field, that people say does not hold up, you wouldn't wear it in your everyday life, is the Madagascar chase scene shirt. Boy, does that get a lot of hate from people. Our own Matt Spazer, you know him, you love him, Bond Suits, Matt Spazer, despises that shirt. But Bond is undercover. Now, I agree, if I wore that out today, it'd look a little much, right? It'd look a little Magnum PI-ish, a little holiday-ish. But in a tropical island setting, in Jamaica or down in Miami, I think it would look perfectly fine. So I'm going to personally give that one a pass. But I do know that people in general, Matt Spazer, do not feel that that look holds up, and maybe it never held up even back in 2006. Now, we mentioned accessories. It's not just about shirts and pants and things like that. So, watches, for example. I mean, nobody would blink twice at a watch, for example, this one from No Time to Die. But what about some of the watches in the past? Imagine if it was announced today that there was a Seiko watch that came out for James Bond. Many of you would be scratching your head. I think it would be kind of neat for Bond to wear a series of different watches and different brands, but the Seiko today may not hold up that well. And I know some of the Seikos that were used, if you saw them today out in the wild, you'd say that really smacks of a dated moment and a dated brand and a brand moment that doesn't really fit into the world of luxury that we know Omega has created today. All that being said, the challenger in all of that is my own son Ellis, who walked over to my Moonraker and Roger Moore area and found a watch. Actually, it was the one from For Your Eyes Only, the one that has the analog and digital. Fell in love with it. We refurbished it. We got a battery in it. We got it to work again beautifully, just like it started right up again. And we put a NATO strap on it, and it's his favorite watch. It's his favorite watch. So there goes my theory, right down the drain. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to phone a friend or StreamYard a friend. I want to get some opinions from some of my closest friends. You probably will recognize many of them on what look do they feel does not hold up that Bond wore, whenever he wore it, doesn't hold up in 2025. Let's go see who we can get on the horn.
I'm Matt Spazer of Bond Suits. I almost wanted to make this about Roger Moore's powder blue trucker jacket leisure suit in Live and Let Die, which is not denim. But I've been waiting for this moment for over a decade. If you know me, this is going to be obvious. 2025 is the year I can confidently say that some of Daniel Craig's suits have not aged well. I'm going to focus on the blue sharkskin suit from Spectre, but most of the Tom Ford suits from Skyfall and Spectre have aged poorly because of their fashionably poor fit. When fashion dictates the fit rather than practicality and neatness, there is no hope that the clothes will stand the test of time. Costume designer Gianni Tamim spoke of wanting to dress Daniel Craig in a look that was iconic for 2012. This shrunken suit look hit the runways in 2005, but Bond didn't adopt it until Skyfall in 2012, when it had already started to take hold of mainstream fashion. It is now 20 years after this look first became fashionable, and it has been played out. Fashion has finally left it behind, and now Timothy Dalton's baggy suits in License to Kill are suddenly fashionable again. The shrunken fit of Daniel Craig suits not only looks dated now, it looks silly. It always looks silly to me, having grown up during the Brosnan era of Bond wearing classically tailored suits. Craig's suits don't follow the shape of his body or move with him or show off his wonderful physique. They don't allow Bond to conceal a weapon. They simply don't make sense for such a fastidious character. I chose the blue sharkskin suit Inspector because the color was extremely popular in 2015. It is a brighter blue than navy, but it's muted on screen thanks to the urine yellow filter. The color still looks good, just as the colors and patterns of all of Daniel Craig's suits do. So there's still something to love about this suit, but it brings us back to 2015. These suits will always be stuck in the past, and I hope they never return.
Hello, David. Pete Brooker here. David. Pete Brooker here from There Will Be Bond. Thank you for inviting me on to talk about some of the James Bond looks that may not have stood the test of time. I'm sure some of your other guests might have cited the more bell bottoms from the 70s or Lazenby's ruffled shirts, maybe even Daniel Craig's tight-fitting suits from Skyfall and Spectre. Although I always think it's important to caveat that with Ralph Fiennes is only 5 years older than Daniel Craig, and so one has to look statesman-like in his Timothy Everest suits, and the other has to reflect rebellion and action in Craig and his Tom Ford suits. So one look that I'm going to highlight here is the duster jacket from No Time to Die. I can't get beyond this. I mean, why they didn't just stick Craig in a nice navy Harrington jacket, a Barracuda jacket maybe. I mean, this just looks like he's one of Stockburn's deputies from Pale Rider. Deep pool. Look it up, kids. Can you imagine how uncomfortable it'd be driving an Aston Martin in that jacket all the way to Norway? So that's my pick, and I'm going to sign off on that and leave you with some professional punditry from your other guests. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ryan of Analyze This, Mr. Bond, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk with you about one of my least favorite outfits in the entire franchise. In my humble opinion, For Your Eyes Only has one of the worst wardrobes in the entire series. In the 1970s, Roger Moore's Bond had some of the most stylish outfits in the series, but here in Bond's first film in the 1980s, he just looks drab and dreary. There are a few passable outfits in the film, but nothing that has the appropriate Bondian swagger or X factor. No outfit embodies that better than the green suede jacket outfit that Bond wears early in the film. In theory, there's nothing wrong with this ensemble. The colors should be complementary. Suede jackets are almost always cool. But this ensemble, when put together, just looks terrible. It is such a dreary look on Roger Moore's Bond. The first thing that's wrong with it is just the shape of it. Clothing is primarily about architecture. It's about the architecture of the body, and the shape of this outfit is just so baggy and shapeless. We lose Roger Moore's incredible stature and shoulders in it. The suede jacket is so droopy, it almost looks like his torso has jowls, and his pants are so baggy that it almost looks like after the scene is over, he's going to head on over to the old folks' home and participate in the shuffleboard court activities. Not that there's anything wrong with shuffleboard. I enjoy shuffleboard, but you get the idea. The colors don't suit Moore's complexion. The exaggerated 1980s collar just seems out of proportion with the rest of the outfit. It's an outfit that makes me mad every time I see it because Roger Moore is a cool guy and he deserves cool clothes. And these are not cool clothes. That's my take, and I'm sticking to it.
What's going on, everybody? Luke from Bond's Apartment. Thank you, David. So the Bond outfit that has not stood the test of time, for me, is the velour tracksuit from A View to a Kill. The velour Fila tracksuit. I was given 2 minutes to make this video. I think I could probably stop right now, let's be real. There's not much more to say. Personally, I don't like that look in general, no matter who's wearing it. I know in the 80s it wasn't just an athletic look, it wasn't just a sporty thing, it was like all the rage. So I get why they want to incorporate it into a Bond film, but it just doesn't make sense for James Bond. You gotta remember, while he's wearing this, he is undercover as Sir St. Smythe. Not in that very second, he is doing some investigative work with Tibbet as James Bond. But what happens if you're running around this chateau and you run into somebody that thinks you're Sir St. Smythe? Now you're wearing this Fila tracksuit, you look nuts, doesn't make any sense. You're driving around in a Rolls Royce. I just don't like it. I don't like the look. I don't think it looks good on Bond. As an 80s thing, think about it. Would you put Timothy Dalton in that, who did 2 movies in the 80s? Absolutely not. I think it's a crazy idea to have James Bond in a velour tracksuit. He looks, Roger Moore especially. He's got like this perfectly coiffed hair. That is my take on an outfit of Bond's that has not stood the test of time.
Hey guys, this is Jeroen, better known as Dutch Bond fan, and I was asked a quick question by David about styles that haven't aged the best. And the first thing that came to my mind, and I'm sure it's probably on your minds for some of you as well, was the pink tie in Diamonds Are Forever. Not just the color, because we've seen Connery pull off pink, Thunderball, it looks great, but it hasn't aged well. The shiny thing, but also, have you seen the size? It's just, it comes up like above his belly button, very short. And I'm not the biggest know-it-all when it comes to fashion, but I can tell that tie has not aged the best. And it's one of the rare moments, I think, where Connery doesn't pull off fashion because he's effortless in whatever he wears most of the time. Here, I think he missed the mark.
Ronson's down. He needs medical evac. No, he doesn't. Ronson's fine, and this is just a harmless toy. Good evening, everybody. Kyle Barbeau, Instagram's Easy Smiles and Expensive Watches, and I was asked to talk about the James Bond look that I think has aged the worst. That guy might know something about it. And the look I chose, if you couldn't tell from that little introduction, is from the movie Skyfall. And it's the suit that he wears, the very first thing that we see James Bond wear in Skyfall. And what hurts about this one is, in concept, it's something that really should work. James Bond always looks good in a light gray sharkskin suit. Sean Connery wears a great one in Thunderball. Pierce Brosnan wears one of my favorites in The World Is Not Enough. Why doesn't this one work? Why has it aged poorly? And there's really 2 reasons. The first one is the obvious one. And I've never claimed to have Daniel Craig's physique, but the suit just does not fit him. It's pulling really tight. It looks like it's painted on, and he's doing a lot of action in that scene. He's riding motorcycles, he's jumping onto trains, he's punching, he's shooting. The suit should move with him a little bit better than it does, and it looks like any minute he's about to burst out of it. It does not fit him correctly, and that's a very dated 2012 look that I don't think people are still wearing today. It's aged really poorly. The other thing that I don't like about it, and something that I've sort of put on display how I would improve upon it, is it doesn't have enough contrast. And again, I don't have Daniel Craig's coloring, but Daniel Craig is a very low contrast complexion, and the suit tie with the white shirt, light gray tie, doesn't have enough contrast either, and it makes him look washed out and pale, makes him look sick. And I think if he would have added a blue shirt to that suit and a darker tie, either something in navy, burgundy, maybe even a purple or a brown, it would have given the outfit a little bit more visual interest and some contrast that really would have made it age a lot better. This looks like something very dated to 2012, and even in 2012, I didn't think it looked that great. And that's my pick for the James Bond look that is aged the poorest.
So beyond the yellow face and You Only Live Twice, I think one of the Bond outfits that hasn't aged too well is probably what we see Bond donning in Her Majesty's Secret Service. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, that is the Sir Hilary Bray camp frilly collar, which would obviously go on to inspire Austin Powers, but also the kilt as well. I know it ties into Bond's Scottish heritage, but it just seems a bit weird when he's up in the mountains, rocking about with his Sherlock Holmes hat and these big, thick, round glasses and a big kilt with that frilly collar. I don't think anyone would wear that these days unless it was like a fancy dress costume or they were going to some banquet in Scotland on Burns Night or something. So I don't think it's aged that well. I get why Bond was doing it. He was undercover. But was there anything under the covers? That's what I want to know, because Ruby was putting her hand up his leg, wasn't she, and writing stuff on there. It was a bit rude. It's a bad outfit beyond that because it allows for sexual harassment as well, which I don't appreciate, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Ruby, you're in trouble. If you were here today, you'd be cancelled. You're off the board. So not only does it mean it's a rubbish outfit, but it also leads to problems down the line. So get it out of my sight. Get the whole movie out of my sight.
Great conversations, great friends, great opinions. But we had to end it on a sort of a different note, because the number one outfit that almost universally people believe does not really stand the test of the time. You wouldn't wear it, for example, at the Fontainebleau in Miami nowadays, is the blue toweling onesie. Yeah. This is not the Oliver Brown one, by the way. This is one that many years ago I actually had commissioned. Yeah, I had it commissioned. And I get it. I get it. It would take a lot of chutzpah, cojones, to wear this, probably out in public, but people have, and we have, and I may even be getting sort of a onesie group picture when I go to Jamaica at Goldeneye. I know, but this people would agree that a baby blue terry jumper for an adult male, adult anybody, maybe is a bridge too far. Maybe. So I don't know if I would disagree entirely, but you know something? It does make an impact. I'll say that. Well, there you have it. Here's what I want you to do. Of course, I want you to give me your opinion. James Bond looks, clothing, items, accessories. Which ones do you feel have not really stood the test of time? I mean, ones that in 2025 you'd be like, really, James Bond? This might be included, but maybe you love it. Who knows? Give me your opinion. In the meantime, I'll let you go. This has been David Zaritsky for The Bond Experience. I'll see you real soon. I'm thinking about going to the beach now. Am I? Nah. Thanks for watching The Bond Experience. If you like what you saw, why don't you subscribe to the channel by clicking this button right here. We'll keep you up on everything new that's happening in the world of Bond. And speaking of something new, here's something new just for you, because we know you so well. Talk to you soon.